most Westerners find comfort in the fact that we come back and get another chance, whereas most Buddhists want to get off the wheel of reincarnation. They're trying to achieve, reincarnation is not a comforting thought to them. Oh, I got to do this shit again. Oh, come on.
And welcome into No Fee Philosophy. This is Scott Sagent, and I'm here with my good friend James Hampton. James, thanks for being here with me.
Always glad to be here. Well, I'm glad to be anywhere, Scott.
It's good to be present in the moment, right?
That's it.
I want to talk about full lives. First, I want to kind of give you my definition of what I think a full life is, and you can add to it. So, a full life, in my opinion, is the combination of physical happiness, mental happiness, and with happiness I can also say, I guess, contentment, if happiness is not a full encompassing term, along with spiritual. I think spiritual is what really kind of rounds them all out. And I think people who live full, happy, fulfilled lives are very well balanced in those areas. What say you?
As always, with every subject, it's a matter of perspective and what each person's definition of a full life is. Because, each of us have different aspirations and concepts of what they're supposed to be. But I think you covered it real well in regards to physical and emotional, spiritual. But now let me ask you this. What do you consider is the difference between your spirit self and your emotional self? What is your spiritual self?
I think your spiritual self is beyond the physical plane. I think your emotions are more mammalian, if you will. It ties,
part of the flesh.
Right. Part of the third density,
the biological
earth plane, our existence here. Even our pets are emotional.
Physiological.
So the difference between that and spiritual, to me, I think, are the difference between worlds.
So when I say that each of us is born with a speck that we don't get too far from, that is our spiritual selves?
Yeah, I use that a lot too. Anytime that I connect to the etheric plane, whether I'm meditating, doing readings, whatever it is, I always refer to it as my speck.
Okay.
Basically my awareness of existence.
Gotcha.
But I view the speck like it's in my body, and it may or may not be. I mean, I can neither prove nor disprove that. But I think it's easier to wrap around your head when you just think of it as an awareness, being aware that you are connected to everything and everyone that has ever been and always will be. And that's the spiritual.
Well, that falls in line with the speck being an illusion, which is a Buddhist point of view.
Physical illusion, yes. You can't physically see it with your eyes.
We are not the ego or the individual. We are the part of the entire setup.
Yep.
We are the universe saying hello.
We are a drop of water and the ocean at the same time.
Gotcha. And it does exist at the same time. See, now this is another basic principle that I've just now getting comfortable with, and that is being comfortable with paradox. It is and it isn't at the same time. It is physical and it isn't physical at the same time. We are an individual and yet we're not. That is an illusion that we play with at the same time. We are and we aren't. Now back to the full life.
So back to full lives. I think you can take anything that people would say creates a full life. Let's say traveling around the world, and you can put it in one of those boxes that I told you. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. So travel would be more physical experiences, right?
Right.
Maybe emotional if it was something that
you would certainly have an emotional reaction to it, right?
So anything that...
But now when you brought this subject up, a full life, it is a very subjective.
Only the specifics of how you define it. Only the specifics.
Bingo.
And what I'm saying is, I think that those specifics fall into these broader categories, such as spiritual happiness, emotional happiness, physical happiness, and mental happiness. I think they all fall into one of these boxes, if not a couple.
Well, I applied it to my own. I mean, I took it very personal when you said full life. Now, I consider myself as having had a pretty full life. I've done a lot of things. I've had a lot of different experiences. So, in one way, I'm doing exactly what I want to do and living a life that I've only dreamed of in my past. And I have wonderful friends, people I love, and people that love me. So, I guess that's as full as you can get. Now, I'd like to be a little bit more active and have some project or some endeavor going on to fulfill that urge.
Okay, so let's not make it about us anymore. But do you think most people feel like they've lived full lives? Or not?
No, I don't. That's not been my experience when I talk to other people. No.
And why do you think that is?
Oh, I think people are their own worst enemies.
Absolutely.
And that they imagine barriers. Well, number one, I think people want things. Desire is the source of all misery. Most of those desires are unfulfilled. And that's by which they measure whether they've had a full life. They're always wanting something they don't have, so therefore most people do not consider themselves living a full life. And I'm just going by what they tell me. I don't know personally, but from the conversations I've had. So no, I don't think most people do.
Does that make you sad, considering all that life can be, that most people don't feel like they've lived full lives? And what could they do about it right now to turn it around?
Well, I feel sorry for them. Now, you could describe that as sad. I have adopted a general attitude of sympathy, compassion for my fellow human being, because I know that they are what they're doing to themselves. Now, the other part of your question, is there anything they could do about it? What could they do about it? There's a lot that they could do about it. And if they would listen to what I had to say, then I could straighten them right out.
If people would only listen.
But I also have come to accept everybody has their own path.
Exactly.
Everybody has their own path to walk and their own lessons to learn. And that's what they're doing. They're exactly where they need to be, doing what they need to be doing to learn the lessons they need to be learning.
Talking about fulfillment in general, service to others, making it not about you.
Well, I think anytime that you don't make it about you, you will alleviate your own suffering. When you're genuinely concerned about something other than yourself, you're not thinking about what you don't have. I think there's nothing more fulfilling.